Hi friends, I welcome you all to my channel Navkiran Nursing Classes. Friends, through this channel I always try to bring updated and useful nursing related videos for you all. So if you want to get latest news and latest updates regarding the nursing profession, and also you want an access to the very useful videos related to the nursing profession, so kindly subscribe our channel. So आज मैं आप सबके लिए एक बहुत ही यूजफुल वीडियो लेके आई हूँ जिसमें कि हम एक गेस्ट पेपर डिस्कस करेंगे फॉर द अपकमिंग HPSSC एंट्रेंस एग्जाम 2020। जैसे कि हम सबको पता है एंट्रेंस एग्जाम की डेट जो है वो डिक्लेयर हो चुकी है। तो यहाँ पे आज एक हेल्प करने के लिए आप सबकी मैं ये वीडियो लेके आई हूँ। ऐसा मैं एक्सपेक्ट करती हूँ कि आफ्टर सॉल्विंग दिस पेपर यू विल बी एबल टू क्लियर मैनी डाउट ऑफ योर्स। तो आपको एक आइडिया मिल जाएगा कि एक्चुअली पेपर आपको कैसा आ सकता है। तो मैंने इसमें ऑलमोस्ट जितने भी एरियाज हैं हमारे, जितने भी हमारे प्रिंसिपल सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, आई हैव ट्राइड टू टेक द मटेरियल और क्वेश्चंस from all those subjects. Okay, so let's start. So the first question is, which mineral is called as two-edged sword? तो two-edged sword किस mineral को बोलते हैं? Option A is iron, then calcium, iodine और fluorine. The correct answer is fluorine. Actually friends, fluorine की deficiency से dental caries होती हैं और excess से fluorosis होता है। तो इसीलिए इसकी एक्सेस भी बुरी है और डेफिशिएंसी तो बुरी है ही। दैट इज व्हाई दिस इज कॉल्ड एज two-edged sword. The next question is question number 2. Most sensitive marker of body iron store is option A serum iron, B serum ferritin, C serum transferrin या D blood Hb. So let's see the correct answer. It's serum ferritin because it reflects the body stores of iron. The next question is, pernicious anemia occurs due to the deficiency of vitamin B1, vitamin C, vitamin 12 या vitamin K. So the correct answer is vitamin B12. Question number 4. T-tube drainage is used for the following surgical procedure. Option A mastoidectomy, option B cholecystectomy, option C lobectomy and D colostomy. So let's see what's the correct answer. So it's B cholecystectomy. Question number 5. Applying ointment on the skin is known as inunction, instillation, insufflation या insertion. So let's see the correct answer. The correct answer is A, inunction. See, instillation हम करते हैं जब हम किसी मेडिसिन को ड्रॉप बाय ड्रॉप किसी म्यूकस मेम्ब्रेन में डालते हैं, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आई ड्रॉप्स हम इंस्टिल करते हैं। इनसफलेशन का मतलब है किसी पाउडर्ड फॉर्म ऑफ ड्रग को किसी बॉडी कैविटी में डालना, एंड इंसर्शन का मतलब है जैसे कोई भी जैसे सुपोजिटरी है उसको हम इंसर्ट करते हैं इनटू द रेक्टल एरिया। ओके, सो दैट इज इंसर्शन। नेक्स्ट है हमारे पास, द बेस्ट टाइम टू टेक स्पूटम सैंपल इज ऑप्शन ए आफ्टर अवेकिंग इन द मॉर्निंग, ऑप्शन बी बिफोर द बेड टाइम, सी आफ्टर हैविंग लंच, डी इन बिटवीन द लंच एंड डिनर. So let's see what's the right option. It's option A after awaking in the morning. Actually what happens, जो sputum sample होता है ये अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग हम ऑब्टेन करते हैं। हम पेशेंट को सिर्फ एक वाटर से थोड़ा रिंस करने के लिए बोलेंगे माउथ, विदाउट ब्रशिंग हम ये सैंपल जो है वो ऑब्टेन करते हैं, एंड यू ऑब्टेन 15 ml ऑफ स्पूटम एटलीस्ट. ओके, the next question is, Meniere disease is related to eye, ear, respiratory system या digestive system. So obviously it is related to ear. This occurs due to the increase in the intra-auricular pressure. Okay, जो intra-auricular pressure का increase होना है उसको हम बोलते हैं Meniere's disease. Next is blue blotter is seen in option A COPD, B emphysema, C ARDS, D SARS. So the correct option is COPD. The next question is, which of the following immunoglobulin can be vertically transmitted? So options are IgM, IgD, IgG and IgE. So let's see the answer. The correct answer is third, IgG. Actually vertical transmission का मतलब होता है from mother to baby. तो IgG एक ऐसा इम्यूनोग्लोबुलिन है जो फ्रॉम मदर टू बेबी ट्रांसमिट होता है, क्योंकि इसका साइज सारे इम्यूनोग्लोबुलिन्स के कंपैरेटिवली छोटा होता है, एंड इट इज अ सिंगल इट्स अ सिंगल ऐसा हीमोग्लोबिन विच कैन क्रॉस द प्लेसेंटा. Question number 10th, a reverse cold chain is used in Option A, measles, then B, diphtheria, C, tuberculosis, and fourth, polio. So let's see what's the correct answer. It's fourth, polio. Actually, reverse cold chain is a method of collecting the stool sample from a polio patient and then transporting it back to the laboratory, from the area of collection to the laboratory. And while transporting it to the laboratory, it is kept in a temperature of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, and this is done by using a cold box which is of red color. So that is why this system is called as reverse cold chain. The next question is, Hodgkin lymphoma is characterized by option 1, large painful lymph nodes, second is a weight gain, third is a Reed-Sternberg cells, and fourth is an elevated erythrocyte level. So let's see what's the correct answer. Is 3, Reed-Sternberg cells. These are the cells which are found on the biopsy of lymph nodes. So basically there is no pain in the lymph nodes in case of Hodgkin lymphoma, and there is weight loss, and elevated erythrocyte level is also the wrong option. So the correct option is third. The next question is, snowstorm pattern is seen in option 1, intrauterine death, second is H-mole, third is placenta previa, and fourth is abruptio placenta. So let's see what's the correct answer. The correct answer is H-mole. Actually, H-mole is formed due to the uncontrolled division of trophoblast, the cells which form placenta. So there are drape-like structures with which the uterus is filled totally. So it will give us snowstorm pattern whenever ultrasound is being done. The next question is question number 13. The blood volume is maximum in first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, or after delivery. So let's see the answer. It's second trimester. This comes under the physiological changes during pregnancy. So in pregnancy, the blood volume is almost double of the normal volume, and it's maximum in the second trimester. The next question is, commonest presentation of the human fetus is number 1, shoulder, second, transverse, third, cephalic, or fourth, podalic. So let's see what's the correct answer. It's cephalic. Question number 15. Endometrium of pregnant uterus is called as option A, trophoblast, B, decidua, C, chorion, या fourth, medulla. Let's see. It's decidua. Decidua word is used for those plants जो अपने leaf को shed कर देते हैं during autumn season. तो डेसिडुआ, जो डेसिडुअस प्लांट्स उनको हम बोलते हैं, डेसिडुआ जो वर्ड होता है वो उस चीज़ के लिए यूज़ होता है जो टेम्परेरी होती है. तो एंडोमेट्रियम ऑफ प्रेग्नेंट यूट्रस जो है वो शेड ऑफ हो जाएगा आफ्टर डिलीवरी, उसी को हम लोकिया बोलते हैं. इसीलिए जो प्रेग्नेंट यूट्रस होता है उसके एंडोमेट्रियम को हम डेसिडुआ बोलेंगे. The next question is 16. The antidote to magnesium sulfate is, it's very simple question. The answer is calcium gluconate, and it should always be kept ready whenever you are giving eclampsia treatment in the form of magnesium sulfate to any mother, because magnesium toxicity may lead to respiratory failure. The next question is the normal level of potassium is, let's see, it's 3.5 to 5.1 milliequivalent per liter, a very important value to remember for all the students who are going for any entrance exam. Question number 18. The full form of ASHA is, of course, Accredited Social Health Activist. ASHA was launched by NRHM, which was launched in 2005, and there are a lot of job responsibilities of ASHA which are being done by him. So he's not being paid by the government, he's chosen by the community, and he has some fixed payments for the type of work she is doing. Okay. The next question is, the most common cause of maternal mortality in India is, it's PPH. It comprises about 25% of the maternal death, and it is a direct cause of maternal mortality in India. The next question is, post-term delivery is called as so when it occurs. So it occurs in after 42 weeks of gestation. See, usually the students will get confused at this, either it is after 40 weeks of gestation or 42. So you have to remember this thing, that it is after 42 weeks of gestation. The next question is, injection of vitamin K is given to the newborn to prevent the hemorrhagic disease of newborn. See, newborn's colon is sterile. It doesn't have those friendly bacteria which usually we people have. which produce vitamin K in our body. So when a newborn is born, so he or she doesn't have these bacteria in his or her intestine. So that's why we give vitamin K injection. The next question is, measles is characterized by the presence of. So the answer is Koplik spots in the buccal mucosa. Actually, these are red colored spots which will occur in the lower, opposite to the first and second lower molars. In the buccal mucosa, you can see these spots 1 to 2 days before the actual rash will appear in measles. Next question is, the most serious complication of mumps in the adolescent boys is, or the adult boys is, orchitis. Next question, the rashes of measles starts from. So they start behind the ear and then they will spread on the face and then they will descend down. So they are basically descending in nature. The next question is, the earliest sign of increasing ICP in an adult is. So there are two type of signs, like earliest and the late sign. So the if examiner is asking you the earliest sign, so that is of course changes in the level of consciousness, or maybe sometime if consciousness is not being given, then headache can be the earliest sign. The next question is, the minimum score in the Glasgow Coma Scale is. It's 3. Actually, Glasgow Coma Scale is assessed by 3 parameters. One is a muscle tone or muscle activity, and second is like eye-opening reflex, and third is a verbal reflex. So basically, the minimum score for each component is 1. So Glasgow Coma Scale is having the minimum score of 3, the maximum is 15, and if a patient is having a score of more than 8, less than 8, then we call that person is in coma. Okay, so this is how it is being assessed. Next question is, the most important parameter in the Glasgow Coma Scale is, the most important parameter is eye opening reflex. Next question, the deficiency of vitamin D may cause rickets. Actually, rickets like this will cause the bowing of the legs and even pigeon chest, like pigeon like chest in the kids and even adult if the vitamin D deficiency is chronic. The next question is, the Montex test is assessed after how many hours? In most of the books, it's usually being given 48 to 72 hours, but if the two options are given separately, one is 48 hour and another one is 72 hour, you should always go for 72 hour, because most of the leading universities of India, they recommend assessing this test after the test results after 72 hours. That is the size of the rash, or in duration you might say. The next question is, which hepatitis is called as post-transfusion hepatitis? So this hepatitis is hepatitis C, of course. This is called as a post-transfusion hepatitis because this is mostly spread after blood transfusion. Question number 30, pathognomonic of rabies is Negri bodies. These are eosinophilic inclusion bodies which are being found if the patient is positive for rabies. The next question is, vitamin B6 is supplemented to prevent peripheral neuropathy induced by which TB drug? So this is one of the very common question, I must say. I have seen this question in many entrance exams, especially if you are going for state government exams. This question is very commonly asked by the examiner. So the answer is isoniazid. The next question is, position given to the patient after liver biopsy. See, liver biopsy is being done on the right side, okay? So, and our main motive as a nurse is to prevent bleeding post biopsy. So, of course, we will give right lateral position to our patient with a rolled pillow over the puncture site. This pillow will help in providing pressure over the puncture site, and it will prevent bleeding. The steps of assessment in the GI system are, so let us see what are the steps. So normally you will see that assessment steps are inspection, palpation, percussion and auscultation, but in GI system the things are little bit different. If you can see, the auscultation is in the second place and palpation is at the last place. This is again a very important question being asked in the entrance exam. Why auscultation is done at the second place and not palpation? The reason is, if you will do palpation before auscultation, it may alter the peristaltic movements, and then you will get wrong auscultation results. Okay, so in order to hear accurate peristaltic movements, we have to do auscultation in the first place, right, in the second place after inspection of course, and palpation at the last. The next question is, the most important instructions given to the client taking corticosteroids is, that is to taper the drug and not to stop it abruptly, because your body gets dependent upon corticosteroids very easily, and for that reason, if you will just withdraw this drug abruptly, withdrawal symptoms can occur in the form of like there can be alteration in the BP, there can be alteration in the level of electrolytes. So in order to avoid all these things, we always suggest our patient to taper it. Tapering का मतलब होता है धीरे धीरे इसको खत्म करना, ना कि एकदम छोड़ देना. The next question is, how many vessels are present in umbilical cord? So there are 2 arteries and 1 vein. In this, vein is carrying the oxygenated blood and the arteries are carrying deoxygenated away from the fetus. Question number 36. During the blood transfusion, the nurse determines that client is having a transfusion reaction. So what should be the first nursing action after stopping the transfusion? So in this question, if you see, the nurse has already stopped the transfusion, the examiner is asking about the second option. So what could be the next step? So the next step is to run normal saline and keep vein open, right? Now why we are doing this? Because see, in the question it's being written that the client is already suffering from the transfusion reaction. So in this question, it's very clear that now the physician might order you some of the drugs. They might be again anti-allergic drugs. They might be life-saving drugs like hydrocort, lefcorlin can be ordered to give to your patient. Okay, so for that purpose, the cannula should be kept open. Okay, and for this purpose only we run normal saline so that we can keep the cannula open. The next question is 37. The nurse is performing closed catheter irrigation on an assigned client. Which outcome, if noted by the nurse, indicates a need for further follow-up? तो इस क्वेश्चन में ये पूछा गया कि क्या गलत होगा जो आपको देखना है ध्यान से. So that is presence of cloudy and dark urine. So presence of cloudy and dark urine indicates the need for further follow-up. The next question is, the position given to the patient during tube feeding is of course semipolar, and to tell you, ये position हम after 30 minute after feeding या up to 1 hour after feeding जो है वो maintain करके रखते हैं, यानी कि immediately after feeding आप patient को supine नहीं करते हो. The next question is, phrenic nerve, the major innervation to the diaphragm arises from, तो कौन सी level से ये arise होती है? That is C4. इसीलिए अगर C4 level पे injury होती है तो आपका patient respiratory paralysis में जाता है, respiratory failure उसको हो जाता है. Question number 40. Insensible water loss occurs through? The answer is skin. Actually insensible water loss वो water loss है जिसे हम देख नहीं पाते. Even lungs के through जो water loss हो रहा है, it also a form of insensible water loss. The next question is, the type of enema given to relieve the gaseous distension is? That's carminative enema. Question number 42. The best site to give insulin injection is? Now the answer to this question is abdominal area. The reason is because this is a natural area where the insulin will naturally secreted by pancreas, and the second reason is the presence of a lot of subcutaneous fat. So this area is good for absorption. The next question is, the nurse gets a prescription stating mixing the regular and NPH insulin. She will mix both insulin in which order? So you should remember the mnemonic RN. So she will withdraw regular insulin first and then NPH, and please note that sometime examiner might write in the entrance how to mix clear and cloudy insulin. So clear insulin is regular insulin and cloudy insulin is always NPH insulin, because this is more of a suspension of insulin. So if it is written in this way, you should understand the examiner is asking about regular and NPH mixing. The next question is, amniocentesis is done at, so it is done at 15 to 20 weeks of pregnancy, and it is done to rule out genetic malformations or disorders. The next question is, the best test to diagnose gestational diabetes mellitus is? So the test which is done for the gestational diabetes mellitus is glucose tolerance test. Of course, this is the best test to diagnose gestational diabetes mellitus, and it is usually done at the 28 weeks of gestation. Question number 46, central venous pressure यानी कि CVP is, it is the pressure inside the superior vena cava. The next question is pulse pressure is, it is the difference between systolic and diastolic pressure. Question number 48, DVT यानी कि deep vein thrombosis is diagnosed by positive Homan sign. Question number 49, otitis media occurs commonly in children because their eustachian tubes are shorter, wider and straighter than adults. Question number 50, the 3 C's of tracheoesophageal fistula are कफिंग, चोकिंग एंड साइनोसिस. सो फ्रेंड्स, ये तो थे कुछ गेस्ट क्वेश्चंस जो मैं आज आपके लिए लेके आई थी. उम्मीद है कि ये क्वेश्चंस आपको काफ़ी हेल्प करेंगे. आप मुझे पता है आप बहुत तैयारी कर रहे होंगे, तो अगर आप एक बार इन क्वेश्चंस को व्यू आपने कर लिया है तो आपको थोड़ा तो कॉन्फिडेंट जो है वो फील हो रहा होगा और थोड़ा सा आपको पैटर्न का जो है पता चल गया होगा. अगर आप फ्यूचर में भी ऐसे ही यूजफुल वीडियोस देखना चाहते हो तो मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब भी कर लो और मेरे चैनल की जो वीडियो हैं उनको लाइक भी कर देना और इनको शेयर भी कर देना अपने ग्रुप्स में, सो दैट आपके साथ साथ और भी जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं इनका फ़ायदा उठा सके. सो आई विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. थैंक यू सो मच.